surprised me, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. At the beginning phases, it's been a crazy weekend of fights, but you know what? When you can fight, you can fight. Dude has not been in boxing for any amount of time, and he's already beaten world champions. Already put his name in the books and on the dotted line, literally. I mean, not literally, but figuratively, to fight Usyk, the greatest fighter in this era. It's just crazy what you can do when you put your mind to it. But what I'm gonna do is explain to you what my vantage point was, because I got to watch the fight. Um, and here's what it is. I've been in this sport for 4 decades. I've got to work with over 45 champions. And with my vantage point, what I saw was a guy who came in and was a little shocked on how much power this kid had, Wardley. And when I looked at Parker, I said he looks a little heavy, and he was. Now, you got to have the ability to absorb shots. So strategically, I can see why he would do that, because this kid was big and he was a lot quicker. He was more like fighting a middleweight, like Chris Bird. If you don't know who Chris Bird is, you can go pull up Chris Bird. And Chris Bird was a heavyweight, but he was more of a middleweight heavyweight. Had fast hands. And this guy Wardley was like that. He reminded you of Ali's speed back in that time when being that big wasn't a thing. You know, Jack Johnson was 6'1". You know, Ali was 6'3". You look at George Foreman, he was viewed as huge, and he was 6'3". 225. Today, those are small guys. If you 6'3", 225 today, that's nothing. So one of the things that I noticed about Wardley that no one else does at the heavyweight division, Tyson Fury is very irky jerky. He understood how to level change. He can change levels. These are skills that if you have them, they matter. And when I saw him executing that could be a problem for anybody. And I know Tyson Fury was looking, because those are some of the tricks that he hopes guys never pick up on in the heavyweight division. And it was a trippy fight. He level changed, he jabbed to the body all through the evening, and then threw some hooks on both sides of the sandbags. That's a problem. And that weight that you put on during camp ends up working against you. And when you see a guy like Parker, I was talking to one of the coaches that works with one of the top fighters today, Gervonta Davis, Coach Calvin, over here down in Hollywood, Florida. And we were just talking about old school, because we both trained fighters in Baltimore. And I talked to him about when I went to help Hassan Rockman fight Klitschko for that training camp. And he was like, man, you go way back. I was like, I go way back. These young boys today don't really get the sport. But when I got to see the first real heavyweight world champion fighters throw punches, it's not like anything you've ever seen before. It's not. I had to get the sparring partner prepared for fighting the champ. Let's just say one may as well not even showed up. And against anybody else, he's highly skilled. And that's the difference with the levels of boxing. If you don't do it, if you have not done it, when you start doing it, what you're going to find is that this is not like anything else that I've ever experienced. And I was thinking that that was what would happen to that kid Wardley. I've only seen him, starch a couple of guys in highlight reels, but that happens at that level of boxing. But then I started to really see him do it, and I said, hold up, he's overcoming some shit. And I know what this takes to overcome. So that made me look even closer, and I continued to see his confidence not leave. Even when he looked a little tired, I was also surprised at how much he didn't seem phased. He looked like he was totally prepared to fight a tough fight against a world champion fighter that it was just something different the entire time. It wasn't like, oh man, he's going to get blowed away. It never looked like that. If anything, it looked like he was going to blow Parker away in the first round. But Wardley really was impressive. And I looked at things and I see things that no one else does. I've been in this game for 4 decades. So I'm going to give you some math on that. First and foremost, he understood how to level chain it and build his base. The thing that he didn't do well was he did not realize when he was not winning why he wasn't winning. You see, what most people don't understand about fighting is he who figures the thing out first is most likely to win. He was losing on all the cards, right? Facts. But the only reason he was losing, it wasn't because of experience. It was because he was choosing to press the fight and allow Parker to pick him apart, set traps, and not have to work hard to get the points. And so Parker turned the fight around that he was losing at the very beginning, and he started to dissect the kid because the kid was allowing himself to be dissected. And these are things you have to pick up on fast. I just did a footwork program. I uploaded it so you guys could look at what you need to do in a situation like that. And that's, second to none. It's exactly what you need to do. You need to understand footwork, right? And when someone's getting points on you, there's a reason why that's happening. And so you go ahead at that point, that's when you decide to make the adjustment. And when you make that adjustment, I got 3 footwork exercises that you have to do at that time. If you don't follow me on Instagram at Master Boxing, it'll be on YouTube tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., 9:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's where you'll learn what type of footwork you do in a situation like that. And so letting you guys see what it actually will take when you're boxing at that level. The faster you understand how to make an adjustment and what adjust to, then that's when you're going to start seeing and understanding how to get to the world class level. So when you're starting to figure these things out, let me know, do any of you guys box? Anybody practice boxing? I see it's just a few of you guys on right now. Um, yeah, I just think, hold up, did you say no sound? Oh, sorry, I thought you said no sound. But yeah, when I saw that, I felt like this kid was going to be something different because the level changing, the constant jabs to the body, understanding how to set up his right hand by throwing the jab to the body, and then so quick. That was another thing I was going to mention about his speed. He wasn't just fast with a good jab. He was quick to make moves and make decisions. That's a lot to deal with if you're a heavyweight. If you're walking in there 255, 260, 270, a guy moving that fast, that's like fighting a middleweight. That's a lot to overcome. Plus, he hits hard. And it doesn't even matter how hard you hit, it's how quick the punch gets there and does the guy see it. Tremendous fighter. He's just not a knockout puncher. And the reason why Parker did not make it through that fight is because when he got to that later round, he had absorbed so much punishment to the body and the extra 10, 15 pounds that he literally could not pull enough oxygen in fast enough. For the average guy, he would have been fine. He would have overcome it. He would have made the adjustments. He would have adapted. He would have tied him up, turned him, and all of those things. But when you got somebody who can actually punch, is quick, is fast, can throw punches and bunches, and has a level of tenaciousness, that intangible, that thing that makes you not just show up, but show up with a chip on your shoulder. It's like he has a grudge. He has a little bit of what I see with Conor Benn. Conor Benn, another great, entertaining fighter. He's box office. You should someone should get behind him in a major way, because that kind of fighter is really throwback. And this kid, he could fight. You know, you can call it what you want. Joseph Parker is a really educated boxer, and this kid ended up being too much for him. So, I wanted to leave you guys with some pearls. If you have any questions, be sure to just drop them down on any other video on the page, and we'll get to those questions. And I want you guys to realize that if you are going to learn boxing, because we just had another person pass away, and I'm noticing that these individuals are typically from Mexico. So, the fight game there is what it is. But if you're going to learn, make sure you get educated. You can go over to Instagram, you can go over to YouTube, you can learn boxing tips and new techniques. But if you're going to learn how to actually box in a process, in a system, the application of boxing, like you did go to school. You didn't just learn your ABCs and then try to figure out how to spell on your own. That's exactly what it would be like to try to put what you learning all over the internet into a ring and try to beat an educated fighter. It's just not going to happen like that. So, make sure you get to a place where you're learning it the right way. We don't need any more fatalities. So you can comb the internet and get techniques here and there. But if you don't have a regimen, get a regimen, right? Write down everything that you're learning, put it down on a notepad or what. Or you can just go to a link in our bio, in our description, and you can get this. This is a 52-week skills training guide. This is what we used with world champion fighters. So if you like something like that, then you can go right there we put the links down in the description. We don't need any fatalities in boxing. And if you want to learn boxing, you got to learn how you would if you actually box. So that's all I got, man. Thanks, guys, for taking the time to hang out with me. And I'm not one of them huge channels on YouTube, but what I do better than anybody on the fucking planet Earth. So you want to get that knowledge, this is Boxing College. I run the School of Boxing, the internet's first fight school, 15 years running, over 45 championship training camps under my belt. And I've made over 300 champion boxers since 2016 in my school. There's that. Be blessed at Godspeed. If you have not subscribed, this is the time to subscribe and hit the notification bell. When our teachings come out, you'll be the first to know. So long.